Okay, so we've been talking about news, and in the last part of the test, I would like to ask you some related questions. First, let's talk about reading newspapers. When do people like to read the newspaper?
I feel like nowadays social media is more common to people than newspapers, and newspapers are mostly considered a thing of the past. Back when people don't have social media, don't have the TV, don't have the screen, they look to newspapers that would provide them information on what's going on around them.
How important is it for people to have a choice of newspaper?
I feel like it's really important for people to have a choice of newspapers because there are many topics around the world, and some of them are nice, okay, very encouraging, but many are very intrusive. Most most news could also be wrong, fake, and particularly very sensitive. And for many people that have issues with such types of news, if these news are forced on them, I believe it would be very uncomfortable.
What does a good newspaper contain?
I believe that a good newspaper would contain a good story, a good dialogue, a clear view, a perfectly good perspective that chooses justice, the right path, and contains a clear story on a topic.
Okay, I'd like to move on and ask you some questions about the future of newspapers. Why do some people choose to read the news on the internet rather than in a newspaper?
And I believe that people prefer reading news on the internet instead of newspapers because nowadays newspapers are starting to become hard to come by because where I'm from, I don't see newspapers anywhere around me. And as social media advances, technology advances, everyone has a phone on their hands, a computer near them, a TV blasting today's news, and I believe that people really love convenience, and since the phone is way more convenient than the apparent newspapers or books that you have to flip through hundreds and hundreds of pages to find one specific information that you're missing, phones can find that in a single second with a Google search.
How is internet news different from the news you read in a newspaper?
Internet news is different from the news read in newspapers because a while ago we had a project in class, and that was to decorate for Independence Day. Yeah, and then we got our hands on a few newspapers. I tried reading some of them, and I realized that the feel of the newspapers, the smell of the paper, and it's just the general dialogue. You get to read and feel what people had in the past when they don't have the screen, and it's just by reading it, I feel like we have a lot more information on our hands than, let's say, a specific Google search for this one topic. You can only get one speck of that information, not the whole wide, like the entirety of it.
Will internet news ever replace newspaper?
I feel like they might in the future, but I don't really want it to because newspapers are nostalgic to me.
But why, right? In the future, internet news will replace newspaper.
Why I believe is because of technology. As technology advances, people would come to chase what is the newest thing. So they would leave behind the past of the newspaper.
Okay, so that is the end of the speaking test today. Okay, have a good day, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.